For as long as I've been canoeing, I've fantasized about spending an entire canoe season on the water, actually moving outdoors to immerse myself in the woods for months on end. Launch my boat in the spring and stay out there until things get too cold in the fall. I held that fantasy for decades, raising a family, paying off a mortgage and car loans, while enjoying a satisfying photography career that unfortunately didn't permit getaways much more than a couple of weeks. Years ago, I drew a 200-mile diameter circle over a collection of maps, and have concentrated on researching the canoe routes within it ever since. I discovered there's an entire lifetime of canoeing, more than 10,000 kilometers of documented canoe routes, and many, many more undocumented routes within 100 miles of my front door. It includes the rugged Temagami area to the north, the Ottawa Valley and Chippewa in the east, Algonquin Park to the south, and the beautiful but overcrowded Killarney to the west, along with a whole host of crown land, lake, and river routes in between. I spent 40 years wandering around exploring what I call my backyard. I can actually count on my fingers the number of trips I've done outside that circle. As I enter my 5th decade of canoe tripping, I've noticed a definite decline in my ability to carry heavy loads. I just don't have the strength and stamina I had when I was younger.
Oh boy, is this a steep one.
I've lost the unshakable confidence I once had with whitewater. And I've watched most of my longtime canoeing companions drop out due to health limitations. As I approached my 65th birthday, family grown up, mortgage paid, health still good, and finally free from the confines of the working world, I knew it was now or never. I developed an ambitious 154-day plan.
Day 149.
To connect areas within my 200-mile circle over an entire season. I devised 2 options to connect Temagami with Algonquin Park, and then 2 unconventional options to return home. I spent more than 8 months working out the logistics for what would become Phantasy 6-5. I cooked, dehydrated, vac-packed meals, and even bought a freezer to hold the more than 170 meals I prepared. Countless hours were spent working out route options, printing, and annotating maps. But a phone call from my sister in Alberta about a month before my launch date put the lid on everything. Fiona had battled terminal cancer for almost 5 years, 3 years beyond her initial diagnosis. I flew to Edmonton, where Fiona's final decline went far more swiftly than I had anticipated. One beautiful, sunny Friday afternoon near the end of May, I held her hand in mine as she drew her last breath. An emotionally difficult period followed my return to Ontario, and it really wasn't until the fall that I felt together enough mentally to venture out on anything remotely ambitious. Early the following year, I finally came around to embracing the Phantasy 6-5 concept again. The next few months were nuts. Refining logistics, printing maps, purchasing and packaging food, along with last-minute gear acquisitions. I organized supplies into storage containers and freezer packages that friends would meet me with at strategic points. You know, there's that old saying about the best laid plans of moose and men. Well, this is the story of Phantasy 6-5. It's day 6. Today. I just want to bring you up to speed on what's happened so far. So Phantasy 6-5 went off the rails day 1. This is last night, just about ready. Tomorrow morning we leave. So this is my resupplies for the next 5 months. These are things that I may need on demand. Packs are in the back of Dan's SUV. Canoes loaded on the truck. Doing the recycling. And there's a pile of empty boxes, boy. Bagged up an awful lot of food. So, I'm just tidying up a little bit. It's been absolute chaos in here for the last 2 weeks. And now it's time to call it a wrap. Just got news tonight that the highway to out of Elk Lake is closed due to a forest fire. But I looked on the map and the fire is west of where we're going, so we're gonna give it a shot anyway, and hopefully we can get through. It'll be an interesting morning. The first leg of Fantasy 6.5 would see Dan and I bushwhack our way into an area we'd talked about getting into for years. My friend Alan from Thunder Bay was going to join us for the first few days, relaxing and catching up on old times. Finding ourselves unable to get past Elk Lake, we formulated a plan B to put in on McLean Lake off the infamous Red Squirrel Road and paddle up into Anamanipising Lake for a few days.
I'm glad we're going with the wind and not into the wind. Maybe there was a reason for that forest fire. Yeah.
The end of day 1 of Fantasy 6.5, and I'm already on plan B. We put in off the Red Squirrel Road there on McLean Lake, paddled up into Anamanipising, and we set up camp here on a very nice high rock, very large campsite with pictographs underneath us. So we're sleeping on top of pictographs tonight. Passed a couple of pictograph sites on the way in as well.
Amazing that's lasted so long.
We had an absolutely fantastic supper tonight. Alan cooked us up a rice dish with onions and spices, chutney mixed in with it, and a big honking can of lobster meat. That was a really good first night meal. I mean, right over the top. Yeah. And we didn't have to cook it. The best kinds of meals. Anyway, I'm going to sign off for tonight. Talk to you in the morning. It's going to take me a while to get into the swing of things out here. I'm a little bumpy. Very tired tonight. Night. Yikes. The first of what was to be more than 150 mornings in the woods started warm and calm, with a low mist hugging the surface of the lake. Birds sang as the rising sun brightened the emerging spring foliage. Finding my companions still asleep, I sat back to embrace the calm.
Here I am portioning out a 3-service soup into 3 mugs, hoping that everybody will get the same number of noodles. One ingredient will be dead flies.
That's in place of protein powder, right?
Yes, yeah.
The weather forecast called for a series of disturbances over the next few days, so we storm-proofed our campsite and then relaxed for the afternoon before Alan began preparing supper.
I'm making chili with beef jerky.
Yeah, and it's all dried up, but you've got to come out from the trees.
Just after supper, we sheltered under the tarp as the edge of a thunderstorm passing to our south sprinkled us with light rain. The resulting rainbow drew us out with our cameras.
Poor Daniel there, he's looking really tired. Oh, but he's a retired guy, right? Newfoundland breakfast. We got the pancakes and the rum. And I believe me, this is the first time I've done this, and it works. This is a winner. So, pancake. Rum. Mmm.
There you go.
A match made in heaven. Day 3, Monday night, under the tarp. Arr. So far, everything is going absolutely fine. We had a great day today, watching suckers in the creek, climbing up these little chutes. And that was quite entertaining for some time. It gives you an idea of, our state of mind. So I shouldn't probably go into a whole lot of detail about what we did today. We did have some fantastic eats. Incredible pancakes and rum. Oh, I like that. That's going to become a weekly staple. Thank you. With a wee toast to Alan each time. Then some kind of gnocchi, potatoes, onions contraption, that tomato sauce, spices, good shit.
One of the unusual things about this trip, every once in a while, we get a bar or two on our cell phones. And we've been able to text people
on the outside.
And in one case, we have someone who's keeping track of whether the Elk Lake Road will open, so that Paul can go to the starting point that he planned on.
Yeah. Communication.
Rain continued throughout the night, prompting an extended sleep. It tapered off shortly after I woke, and an hour later the others got up to a cold and damp morning, perfect for a bowl of hot oatmeal.
All right.
By By early afternoon, the skies were clearing and we took to the canoes to get a look at the pictographs we'd been sleeping on top of. These mostly obscure ochre paintings, whose origin and meaning are largely speculative, date back between 500 and 1,000 years. Finding myself up well before the others to a spectacular morning, I paddled out to see the pictographs in the morning light, and discovered I had a companion shadowing me as I paddled along the shore.
Pictographs. More pictographs. More pictographs.
Sunlight reflecting off wavelets brought life to the rocks and trees with a visual phenomenon I call shimmering light. And then it was back to camp to wait for the guys to rise and help Ellen pack up. Against a light headwind, Dan and I escorted Alan back to the road, where his wife Bonnie was waiting ahead of their long drive back to Thunder Bay.
See you later.
Adios, Alan. Thanks, Alan. And remember to let tomorrow come.
Yes.
See you, Bonnie.
Take care.
Next year.
Bye, Dad.
Take care. Safe drive.
Day 6 today. I spent 5 days hanging around here, catching up on old times. It's been years and years since I saw Alan, and I gotta tell you, Alan is one of the most pleasant people to spend time in the woods under a tarp with. I would do that again in a heartbeat. And I hope I have the opportunity to do that again. The weather is supposed to be atrocious for the next 3 days. So we wouldn't be moving very much anyway. The road now is open, but the thought of paying $30 some odd a night for a campsite for 3 days in the rain while we wait out the rain before we start portaging doesn't appeal to me. So we're going to go back to North Bay, and I'm going to camp at home for 3 days, reorganize things, and then we're going to head out on Monday. By mid-June, I should be back on track and ready for my first resupply on Obabica Lake. There, off to the side, very comfortable campsite. Those double blades are not so convenient when you duck underneath a tree, because you can't make a recovery stroke and get caught up in the branches.
Now we're going. Well, hello. So, I'm in camp. This is camp number 2. And this one was a long haul from last night. We're in North Bay now. And so I'm going to camp here for a couple of nights. And then while I'm here, I'll probably sort some supplies. I got some new ideas for some food. And I got some more supplies here. So I'll do some supply sorting. And then back out again. Day 8, and having a rough day today. It's Fiona's anniversary. Today is a day to remember my sister.
After a rather reflective morning, I organized some gear and then stopped by the Lavaz River to give my friend Emily Ann a few tips for her new canoe before enjoying a barbecue at a friend's quite spacious campsite.
Here we go, up Tebow Hill.
Finally, we were heading north again and Fantasy 6.5 was back on track. Just 10 days late. Dan and I were on our way to a remote section of Temagami, rarely traveled by canoeists, that we'd talked about getting into for years. We've done a lot of trips over the years, and many of them straight up bushwhacking, but on this one we would be following portages reopened just a few years earlier. In what appears to be an emerging trend, things didn't go quite according to plan.
Day 11 here, and we're on plan, I've lost track of them now, plan D, I think. Things kind of went off the rails right from the get-go. We got into the first portage, and we found it signed in the wrong place. It was signed about a good 80 meters away from where it really was. We're at the alleged landing for the first portage. I don't know if you can see on these driftwood stumps here, there's a couple of yellow Ontario Parks flags. The actual portage starts way back where that tangle of driftwood is at the bottom of the rocks. So we thrashed around for not very long, but found the trail. There was a great big white pine over it. There's some branches cut off, but you still got to hump the canoe over and go under yourself. We got them up to the top, up to the next lake, and the little bay that you put in was completely choked with logs. Here at the upper end of the portage, there's Daniel coming to give me a hand with this big floating log here. And we're going to see if we can get make an opening to get in here. We spent considerable time sort of balancing on logs and trying to shift logs and getting in the canoe and barging logs, and one of them I tried to tow out of place, so that didn't work. And anyway, we did clear a way that we could get out. We've spent an awful lot of time just doing this. So we figure by the time we hump our loads across here and get to the next portage, it'll probably be well after 1 o'clock.
I've got to eat in there, so it'll be a late start on that long portage, and it's an unknown. And then following that, it's about 1,800 meters. Then there's a 750, and then a little short one. So given what we have ahead and the unknowns, we're going to drop all our gear right here, and we're going to take the boats up and then go across, and we're going to scout this long portage.
We made it over to the second portage and really couldn't find any semblance of trail anywhere. We found sort of a landing area, a little bit of a faint trail that petered out after 30-40 meters.
We're at the second portage. This is the big long one, so this is almost a 2-kilometer portage, 1,800, 1,900, something like that. And we can't find it. So it's got to be around here somewhere. We're going to have a little bit of lunch and then see if we can find this trail. It's proving to be elusive. We like to eat fish every day when we're out here. Better be easy catching.
So then we thrashed around for quite some time. We eventually went in a little bit, went right down to the creek, and then did a straight line going up till where we knew we had gone too far up a hill. Figuring that at some point we were going to cross this portage. No. Did it again going downwards, and still no sign of the portage. I'm not sure what we were doing wrong or how we've gotten this information so wrong. The land itself, the topography, it's only logical that the portage could be where we looked. The other side of the creek is much steeper terrain. It wouldn't make any sense to put a portage on that side. Any further to the north, and that would be illogical too, because you would be climbing hills that there's no reason to climb. So I don't know. And the only one person that I know that's been in there before by canoe died last year, so we can't ask him. Yeah, bit of a mystery. Really hate getting skunked on a portage like that. It's been a long time. I mean, I'm pretty good at scoping out a portage, even faint ones, but we didn't find a single cut stick in there. No branches cut, nothing. No sign of human. I messaged some people outside on my satellite communicator, got some information, and we're going to take another look over on the other side of the lake there. It would mean a very, very long portage. It would be about 3 kilometers. That's a lot, 3,000 meters. Jesus, sheesh. But we'll take a look and just see if there is anything there. We weren't prepared to bushwhack that 1,800 meters, and by the time we realized that we would have to, it was almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is way too late to start an endeavor like that. Beautiful sunset tonight. Beautiful sunset tonight. Got nice and calm. That was very nice. On this little unnamed lake we were on this afternoon, we ran across a very pretty little campsite. Very small, maybe room for one little tent, without a lot of pruning. There was also an old cabin at that site. Just the bottom logs, everything else was completely gone. But nice spot, beautiful little lake. Someday I'll go in there and spend the night. Well, that's it for day 11. I got some information on my satellite communicator last night. And we have a friend
whose brother was in here some years back. He died last year, but she has all his maps. Looked on his maps and found a yellow highlight. We're going to take a look at this, and maybe that's where he cut the trail. Maybe that's why we couldn't find it yesterday. We're going to find out. I don't know if you can see him down there. We're herding a bunch of suckers. There they go. They're all going back down. Some of them. Okay, watch this. There they go. Up and down. Up and down. They don't know what to do. Okay, we're going to go right over top of them. Look at them go. Holy smoly. They're frantic. Oh, look at this. Close. That duck took me by surprise. Wow.
You took him by surprise.
They're coming straight at me. Look at the fish. Look at the bottom is just full of fish. Look at them. They're stacked on top of each other here. Wow. Oh, holy smolies! I've never seen that happen before. Wow. There we are. So this is as far as anybody's going to paddle up the creek. We ain't going any further. Got a whole lot of dragon. There's a blaze. There's a f***ing blaze. A fresh blaze. We're at the limit of navigability, and lo and behold, what do we find? A friggin' axe blaze. Not that old either. It's not that old a blaze. I can see another blaze on the tree down there. Not much of a path, but then there's some blowdown here too, so we're going to investigate. That there's definitely another blaze. Yeah, and a back blaze. And there's another tree with a blaze. Now, she's pretty well overgrown, so this is definitely a bushwhack, but a marked bushwhack. See? Blaze, blaze. And there's got to be another one over this way. That's where it's pointing. Now, I've run out of blazes here. I'm going to go a little bit more. See if I can find a blaze. So, here by the final blaze, we thought we were onto something here. But 3 blazes later, 3 blazes and she's done, boys. Yeah, no, that's it. Had a little walk up the creek. Some pretty cascades coming down through there. And saw some neat fungus. Wild flowers. Yeah, nice little jaunt. I'm going to go back now to the canoes. Maybe have some lunch. Oh, Well, we are just flying down this little creek. The creek is like completely full of these suckers. Holy smolies. I scared the shit out of him. How fast can you go, fishies? Oh, and that's the end of the fun. It's slack water now. Oops. Let's go station. A little bit of unorthodox technique there. Hit the bank and got spun around. All fun and games till somebody pokes their eye out, right? Beautiful mosses here, eh? Those red mosses. Yeah. Very nice. Sun shone briefly the following morning, but increasing cloud and a forecasted couple of days of rain inspired us to tarp over the tents and fire pit. Before long, the showers had started, but so had the feasting. Oh, we got a fine one this morning. We got the fire-toasted muffins. We got the sizzling bacon. And we got the eggs. Oh, we're doing good today, boys.
All the comfort of the bush.
And they call this roughing it.
Oh, having a hard time, Paul.
Oh, it's rough, Dan. What are we going to do?
I guess we have to go home.
Yeah. There she is, boys.
Just in case we're going hungry.
Good.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Mm.
Andrew, is your blood orange marmalade?
Top of the morning, you have a new fan.
Oh, that is so good.
It's a beautiful thing.
You gotta send me more of this.
Oh, that was a real taste. That was a real treat in the mouth, eh?
It's the best marmalade I've ever had. Ever. That's the stuff. Right there. Sitting here catching up with friends on the outside. And we're telling them about our exploits and our failures. I found a blaze. A fairly fresh blaze within the last probably 5 to 10 years, no more. We started following the blazes in, and I found blaze number 1 leading to blaze number 2, leading to blaze number 3, leading to oblivion. So nothing after that. We searched again up and down. There was really no sign of an actual trail. It was only blazes, but only 3 blazes, and then nothing. And then we noticed there was an awful lot of really nice, gnarly old spruce standing around there dead, waiting for us. So we took the saws to it and we cut up a couple of boatloads of that and brought it back. And you might be able to see some of that over in the corner of the tarp. We got it all cut and split. We got another pile back here just in case we need more. We got the nice fire going there. You can see we're both in shirt sleeves, and you know, silky saw makes short work of that stuff away. And a little hand axe just with a hammer to split it, and it burns so nice. We got the rocks. I'll show you after we got the rocks set up so the heat's reflecting in here, and this tarp arrangement is like a big heat bubble. So just absolutely beautiful. Oh, forgot to mention, at one point, on the way upstream, I had the camera tilted down into the creek to film the suckers, and suddenly a male merganser came screaming down the creek at like head height, just missed me. I got the camera up just in time to watch him scream by. And then I could hear Dan screaming. The thing's really well crash landed right into his canoe.
He came around the bend. He had no idea we were there.
None. Oh, and we surprised the shit out of him.
When I brought my paddle up, I almost took him out. All I could see was this merganser broadside over here, a horse this wide, legs straight out, eyeballs like this, with no place to go except a canoe. I don't know where he got the lift to get out of there.
It was some frantic flight, man. And then just a minute later, his partner, the female, she comes screaming around the corner, saw me, crash landed into the creek, and then flew off the other way. And when I got up to where she crash landed, I couldn't believe it because there was only about like 3 or 4 inches of water and a pile of rock. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Tiny little fire, but throwing off lots of heat. Them rocks are nice and hot. And this little tarp arrangement gives us a perfect heat bubble. Just circulating in there. It is truly a thing of beauty. Best tarp setup I've ever had.
Ooh, rain.
Oh, if you got any business to attend to, now would be a good time. I think I'll follow your lead, Dan. A lull in the south wind that had carried a succession of rain showers over past days, coupled with a change in the barometer, signaled a wind shift to the northwest that would eventually lead to a clearing trend, but we certainly weren't out of the woods yet. With that wind shift came waves of cold, wind-driven rain blowing directly into camp. Fortunately, we'd taken advantage of the lull to reorient all the tarps to weather the coming storms in comfort. Once we got that fire going again, that dry spruce had us toasty warm in no time. What's it doing out there, Dan?
Schmur's coming back.
Schmur.
The schmur's gone.
No more schmear?
The schmur's gone.
The schmear is gone.
I've been gone for good.
Supper's ready. How's this sweet and sour stuff doing? Oh, better than mine. Okay. So that's possible. Feel the weight of it. Feel it, sir.
Oh my God.
There's, Christ. There's probably more than a pound of food there. Okay. The last full day Dan and I would spend together began with an absolutely beautiful sunrise. Free from the tarps at last. Birds sang incessantly in the trees. A solitary loon yodeled through the mist while sunlight dried out spider webs. We're working our way up to the top of the cliff. Beautiful day today. This is a steep climb. Well, that's kind of what it looks like where we came from. And there's what it looks like where we're going. Onwards and upwards. Nice rock wall here that we're climbing beside. It's very cold to the touch. Oh, I think I see an opening not too far over there. Steep rock. Oh man. There we go. Holy smolies. It's like moonwalking on this stuff. Oh, really moonwalking. Boom. Look at my feet. Here. I'll open that up so you can see. It's like walking in a bouncy castle. Oh, treacherous. Treacherous. Holy smolies. Holy smolies. How do you get there from here? I think we gotta go into the gully. It's deep and loose. No hands. I got a tripod in one hand and a camera in the other. Oh, there we are. Oops. Oh boy. I didn't bring the ropes, eh? More than treacherous. This is getting stupid. There we go. Yeah. And more. Okay. We're just about there, Dano. Careful. Almost there. Onwards and always upwards. Sometimes both ways. I don't get that. I don't get that. Make sure it's solid before you put the weight on it. There we go. Oh, oh, yeah, there's a view coming. Ah, oh, very nice view coming. And up, there we go. Where are we stuff? Nobody knows. Look at that. Our view up here. Marvelous. Get a good one, eh? Ha. Time for a drink. If it wasn't for the lichen, it'd be a lot easier.
Our last evening together was filled with preparations for tomorrow. We took down the tarps, repacked food bags, and I backed up pictures to a battery-powered hard drive for Dan to take out. Starting tomorrow, I would be on my own for more than 2 weeks until I reached my first food resupply. After the last 2 false starts, I was really hoping things would go a little closer to plan.